Sara was a young girl with a very big heart. She lived in a small, cozy house with her kind mother. Sara was known throughout her village for her gentle ways. Her eyes were full of warmth and understanding. Her greatest love, however, was for animals. All animals, big or small, furry or feathered, were precious to her. She believed every creature deserved kindness and care. Sara would often spend her afternoons reading books about animals. She learned about their habitats and their needs. She knew how to be patient with them. Animals seemed to trust Sara instinctively. They sensed her pure and loving spirit. Sara dreamed of a world where all animals were safe and happy. She would often imagine herself as a guardian of the forest. She would picture herself helping lost fawns or mending broken wings. Her mother always encouraged this love. She knew it was a beautiful part of Sara. This profound empathy was Sara's most defining trait. If she saw an insect struggling, she would gently help it. If a bird fell from its nest, she would try to care for it. Her heart ached for any creature in distress. She was a true friend to all living things. Sara's home was in a lovely village called Meadowbrook. It was nestled in a valley like a hidden gem. The village was not very big. Winding paths connected the quaint cottages. Smoke curled lazily from chimneys in the mornings. Life here moved at a slower, more peaceful pace. It was a place where nature's beauty was all around. The air was always fresh and clean. Green meadows stretched out like soft carpets around Meadowbrook. Tall, ancient trees stood like wise old guardians. Wildflowers painted the fields with vibrant colors. A clear, sparkling river flowed gently through the edge of the village. Its water gurgled over smooth stones. Children often played by its banks on sunny days. The people of Meadowbrook were as warm as the summer sun. They were simple, hard-working folk. Neighbors were always ready to lend a helping hand. There was a strong sense of community in the village. Festivals were celebrated with much laughter and song. Sara adored her village. Meadowbrook was more than just a place to live. It was her sanctuary. For a girl like Sara, so full of love for the natural world, Meadowbrook was paradise. One bright morning, the sun climbed high into a clear blue sky. Birds chirped merrily from the branches of the old oak tree. A gentle breeze rustled the leaves, making them dance. Sara was out in her family's garden. It was her favorite place to be, especially on such a lovely morning. Their garden was a riot of color and life. Roses, lilies, and daisies bloomed in abundance. Bees hummed contentedly as they flitted from flower to flower. Colorful butterflies with delicate wings danced among the blossoms. Ladybugs crawled slowly on the green leaves. Sara loved to watch all the tiny creatures in her garden. She felt they were her little friends. On this particular morning, Sara was helping her mother. They were planting tiny vegetable seeds in neat rows. Sara enjoyed the feel of the cool, soft earth in her hands. She carefully made little holes for the seeds. Then she gently covered them with soil. She hummed a cheerful tune as she worked. Her mother watched her with a loving smile. The air was filled with the sweet scent of damp earth and blooming flowers. Sara took a deep breath, feeling peaceful and content. She cherished these mornings more than anything. As Sara patted down the soil around a newly planted seed, she heard something. It was a very faint sound, almost like a whisper. She paused, her small hands still covered in earth. Cheep, cheep, it went. The sound was so delicate, so tiny. It seemed to come from the direction of the thick lilac bushes. They grew at the far end of the garden near the old stone wall. Sara tilted her head, listening intently. Her brow furrowed slightly with curiosity. What could be making such a tiny noise? The sound came again, a little louder this time. Cheep, cheep, cheep. It sounded a bit like a plea, a small call for attention. Sara's heart began to beat a little faster. She looked towards the vibrant green lilac bushes. Their leaves were thick and provided good cover. She slowly rose to her feet, wiping her hands on her apron. Sara approached the lilac bushes with quiet, careful steps. She moved as softly as a gentle breeze. She did not want to frighten whatever was hiding there. She walked on the tips of her toes, her eyes fixed on the spot where the sound originated. The chirping continued, a soft, steady rhythm. It guided her closer and closer. She held her breath, trying to be as silent as possible. Her heart was filled with anticipation. When she reached the bushes, she knelt down slowly. She gently pushed aside the broad green leaves. Her eyes scanned the shadowy space beneath. It was darker there, away from the bright morning sun. For a moment, she saw nothing but twigs and fallen leaves. Then a tiny movement caught her eye, a little speck of yellow amidst the green and brown. She leaned in a little closer, her curiosity growing stronger, and then she saw it clearly. Huddled at the base of a thick stem was a tiny chicken. It was incredibly small, covered in soft, fluffy yellow down. It looked no bigger than Sara's own fist. The little creature was all alone. It seemed lost and utterly out of place in their garden. Sarah's heart immediately went out to the frightened little chicken. "Oh, you poor, sweet little thing," she whispered. Her voice was as soft as a summer cloud. She kept her movements slow and gentle. She didn't want to cause it any more distress. The chicken was so tiny, so fragile. She could see its little chest heaving with rapid breaths. It was clearly terrified by its strange surroundings and her sudden appearance. "Don't be afraid, little one," Sarah continued in a soothing tone. "I won't hurt you, I promise." She offered a small, kind smile. She tried to make her eyes look as friendly as possible. Animals often understood kindness in a gaze. "I am your friend, Sarah." She spoke the words slowly and clearly. She hoped her calm demeanor would reassure the tiny creature. It was important to gain its trust. The little chicken remained very still. It watched Sarah with its bright, beady eyes. It was still trembling, but perhaps a tiny bit less. Sarah's gentle voice seemed to have a calming effect. Sarah cupped her hands together very carefully. She formed a warm, soft little nest with her palms. She moved her hands slowly towards the tiny chicken. She was incredibly gentle, barely breathing. She gently scooped up the little creature. It was so light, like a feather. Its soft down tickled her skin. For a moment the chicken tensed, but then it seemed to relax slightly in her warm grasp. It was a very delicate moment. The little chicken nestled into the curve of her hands. It was still a bit shaky from its ordeal, but it did not try to jump away or struggle. It must have sensed Sarah's kindness and the safety she offered. The warmth from her hands seemed to comfort it. Sarah smiled, a wave of relief washing over her. She had successfully rescued the little creature without frightening it too much. This was a good sign. Sarah brought her hands slowly towards her chest. She held the little chicken close, offering it more warmth and security. She could feel its tiny heart beating against her palm. Thump, thump, thump. A rapid, delicate rhythm. "There, there, little one," she murmured softly. As Sarah carefully carried Peep inside the house, her mother was in the kitchen preparing lunch. She looked up, surprised to see Sarah cupping something so gently in her hands. "What do you have there, dear?" she asked with a curious smile. Sarah opened her hands to show her mother the tiny yellow chicken. Her mother's expression softened immediately when she saw Peep and the tender look on Sarah's face. She understood her daughter's compassionate heart. Together, Sarah and her mother made a cozy little bed for Peep. They found a small cardboard box. They lined it with soft cotton wool to keep Peep warm. Sarah carefully placed Peep into his new temporary home. Then she found a tiny dish for water and another for food. She crumbled up some bread into very small pieces and offered some tiny seeds. After a little while, Peep started to peck tentatively at the food. Sarah watched, overjoyed. Sarah spent the rest of the day devoted to Peep. She sat by his box, talking to him in soft, reassuring tones. Taking care of Peep was a very special responsibility for Sarah. Through this experience, she learned many valuable lessons. She learned the importance of patience, especially with a small, scared animal. She learned how to provide gentle and consistent care. She discovered that even the smallest acts of kindness could make a huge difference. Peep's soft chirps of contentment were her greatest reward. These were lessons she would carry with her always. Animals, Sarah understood more deeply than ever, are precious gifts to our world. They share our planet and deserve our respect and protection. Whether big or small, wild or tame, every creature has a right to live free from harm. Even the tiniest bird or insect plays a role in the beautiful tapestry of life. Showing kindness to animals is a reflection of our own humanity. It is a fundamental virtue we should all practice.